Sixth European Formula 3 Championship event is at Germany's Norisring, and with rain on Sunday, tyres will become absolutely critical. Every tyre used in the championship is marked with a unique code. They're allocated to each team by a random draw, meaning every driver will have an equal opportunity.
The Formula 3 tyre is one of our most important program for all the young drivers. The European Formula 3 Championship is the most important Formula series in Europe, maybe in the world, and we are really proud to be partner of the series.
The Formula 3 tyre is one spec tyre for all seasons. This means we have the same tyre from the 1st of January to the end of the year, 31st of December, with one compound and one casing. And we have to run on each single event, whatever it's hot or cool. And this is a big challenge for the Formula 3 tyres, to be able to work in each condition.
They may look outwardly quite similar to, say, a Formula 1 tyre, but there are major differences.
There's a lot more power in a Formula 1 car, so they would have bigger tyres. These are 270 millimetres across, whereas with a Formula 1 tyre they'd be a lot larger than that. But in comparison, with this amount of power that we have, they're very well balanced.
All the teams are able to change is tyre pressure. Everything else is closely regulated.
Two types of tyre, wet and slicks. And we have 3 sets of slicks for the race weekend and 3 sets of wets for the race weekend.
What can the teams do to get the best out of their black gold?
It is a very, very important part of the car and how to get performance out of the car. And in Formula 3 we spend a lot of time training the driver. You have to teach them to bring the tyres in together to get the maximum amount of time from the tyre. So you must have both front and rear tyres in together, working together for the quick lap in qualifying.
It's just one of the many things drivers in Formula 3 must learn if they want to move on and become professional drivers at the highest echelons in the series. Two rookies are dominating this year's championship. Esteban Ocon lines up second for race 2 here at the Norisring, but his lead in the championship is slowly shrinking. Max Verstappen is getting stronger and stronger. With 4 wins in a row now, he is Ocon's closest rival. But despite his recent successes, he trails by over 100 points. Well, the weather in Nuremberg very unsettled for race 2. Everybody came to the grid though on slicks on what was effectively a dry track. Verstappen from pole making a good getaway. Best though was Tom Blomqvist from row 2 of the grid. He got by Esteban Ocon in the run up to the first corner. And the first corner with wet fringes around a dry line was always going to be an issue. The leaders managed to just about negotiate it safely, but that's not always the case in the midfield. And further back, the predictable contact and a pile-up. Spike Goddard, Michele Beretta, Jules Simkowiak again, and Felipe Guimarães were all involved this time. Well, after a short safety car period, it was time to get back to racing. Verstappen jumping away from Blomqvist's yellow car, Ocon followed by Auer and Rosenqvist. Sean Gelael battling hard for his points in the midfield. Dicing here with Felix Sorales, trying to squeeze the Puerto Rican driver out of the way, bashes him off the track. Young Indonesian would be investigated by race officials and they would hand him a drive-through penalty. And frankly, no surprises there. Well, a trip through the pits, even on a short circuit like this, would guarantee no points in offer on race 2 for Sean Gelael. No choice of points either for car number 3 Lucas Auer and 27 Felix Rosenqvist. Battling together, they race for 5th position. No chance of a podium, but in the points. Lucas Auer outbreaks himself, through goes Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist diving around the outside of Jordan King, getting onto the wet and running out wide. Tatiana Calderon also off track in her Muka Motorsport car. And that is the final corner. And this time was contact from behind. Car number 4 is her teammate, Roy Nissany. I'm afraid getting shunted like that under braking, she stood no chance. The guilty party's nose box still in the back of her rear wing. Well, Roy Nissany not only damaged his nose, but he decided to come in as well for a change to wets. Race control, though, throwing out the red flag because they had started on slicks and it was getting increasingly slippery. As there were only 19 laps run, the race was held, giving all the teams a chance to change their drivers onto correct tyres for the drizzly conditions. The restart was dominated again by Max Verstappen. Right behind him, Ocon trying to pass Blomqvist. The black car down the inside of the yellow one. Blomqvist outbraking himself on the outside and just clattering the wall. Ocon making contact with Blomqvist and knocking his steering out. Into the wall he went.
Ocon tried to pass me. I went a little bit wide and cut back on the exit. But by the time I, was out there, he'd, squeezed me to the wall. So I'm pretty disappointed. Yesterday, I didn't finish the race from 3rd. Today from 2nd. So, up to now it's been a disaster.
Disaster too for Esteban Ocon. He was handed a drive-through penalty for the incident and finished in 14th out of the points. And now the rain really set in. Felix Rosenqvist trying to pass Jake Dennis. Gets into the water and aquaplanes straight off. And while those around him lost their heads, one man remained remarkably trouble-free. Max Verstappen started driving single-seaters this year, but he managed the rain like a champ.
We had a great pace in the dry, could pull away quite solidly, and in the wet, after the red flag, a great balance again. Team did a great job, I think, with the car. Volkswagen delivered a great engine, so yeah, couldn't be better.
It's the 5th win in a row for Max Verstappen. Great race by Jordan King to take 2nd. Lucas Auer in 3rd ahead of Jake Dennis. Santino Ferrucci grabbing his 1st points, 5th in his 5th race in the Formula 3 Championship after making his debut at Spa last week. So time to get a little bit wetter. Plenty of champagne for our 5-time winner. And still, race number 3 to go in the Norisring.